Look, I'm not going to tell you to create a strong PIN code, to turn on Face ID, or even set up the Find My iPhone feature. We all know those things by now. Instead, I want to teach you some lesser known security tricks, one that will make your iPhone virtually unhackable. Things like how to reset biometric security, how to lock your account settings behind a different PIN code, or even how to hide an entire home screen. I promise you'll learn something new, so stick around. My name's Josh. This video is made possible by Proton VPN. Let's begin with biometrics. There's this general fear I've heard that using biometrics, that's things like Face ID and Touch ID, is a bad idea because a thief, a government, a bad actor, even a border control agent could force you to unlock your phone just by holding it up to your face. What most people don't realize, though, is that Apple gives us a way to reset biometrics so that it doesn't work without first re-entering your passcode. And thankfully, it's really easy. Watch this. Let's say you're traveling and you come up on a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, or you're being forced to take out your phone. You can do one of two things. First, you can either press this side button on the right 5 times, or press and hold that side button and the volume button together for a couple seconds to initiate the power down sequence. So let me show you. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll see that we've initiated the power down sequence. But what that's actually done is that has forced us into a passcode situation. It even says your passcode is required to enable Face ID. So you can hold this up to my face as much as you want, but it's not going to work unless I insert that passcode. Now, yes, somebody could put a gun to your head and say, give us your passcode or we'll kill you, in which case you should probably give them your passcode, but they won't be able to have access to your phone automatically without you giving them something. Now, let's say that somebody does peer over your shoulder and steal your iPhone's passcode, in addition to then stealing your physical device. For most people, if somebody has both your device and your passcode, there is a lot of damage that they can potentially do. Thankfully, if you're running the latest version of iOS, the helpful stolen device protection feature is on by default. And this is a feature that forces a 1-hour delay for any security changes if the iPhone is not in a familiar location. I think this is a really useful feature that everybody should have on, in my opinion. So if you want to go double check that it is on, just go into the Settings app, scroll down to find Face ID and passcode, and then scroll down again to see if stolen device protection is set to on. But here's a fun hack to take things a step further, because on my phone, an attacker can't even click into my account to change my Find My settings, and I've removed the Face ID and passcode menu item entirely. Now, here's how that's done. So this little hack takes advantage of the screen time feature on an iPhone, as well as the ability to create a separate passcode from the one that opens your device. So if you scroll down and you find screen time, if you go all the way down, you'll have the option to change your screen time passcode. So make sure that that is a passcode that is different than the one that actually opens up your phone. Then I'm going to go into Content Privacy and Restrictions, and I'm going to turn that on. It will require you to enter in your screen time passcode. And then you scroll down, and I want to make sure that passcode and Face ID is set to not allow, accounts is set to not allow, and cellular data is set to not allow. So now that I've set all of these to don't allow, and I've set it behind a different screen time passcode, when I go back out, you're going to notice that my name and everything behind the iCloud and account is blurred, or is kind of, it's out. You can't click on it. And down here, the passcode ID and Face ID is that menu item is completely removed. So all you have to do to undo that is go back into screen time, go into Content Privacy and Restrictions, and then turn that off. Now, this can be useful if you've got a kid and you just don't want them to be changing settings on your phone, but it can also be useful to just make things a little bit harder for somebody that steals your phone. It's not to say that this is a complete protection against any kind of attack. However, a lot of times when people steal your phone, time is of the essence, and they know exactly what they're looking for and how to do it. And if you make that just a little bit harder, it makes your phone a lot less appealing. Most people aren't aware of how many ways Apple gives us to hide things on our phone. This includes everything from photos you don't want everyone to see, apps you don't want easily accessible, notes you want to keep private, and even entire home screens. Let's go through each of these individually and show you how. Let's say you have a photo you want to hide. It doesn't have to be an inappropriate image. It could just be a photo of a document that you want to keep with you at all times. Let's say your passport. You click on those 3 dots in the upper right and you click Hide. It is going to put it into a hidden folder that is only accessible with your passcode or Face ID. So if you scroll all the way down, next to Recently Deleted, you have your Hidden. And if you click in here and you use Face ID to open that album up, now you have access to that photo again. And it's easy to just go in if you wanted to and unhide that, but you can always keep all of those important documents, sensitive documents, information like that you keep in your photos in a hidden folder instead. Similarly, if you have a note on your Notes app that you don't want publicly available to anybody who has your phone, let's say it's a public diary, a surprise gift list idea, or maybe credit card numbers, you can just click on the three dots here on the upper right and then click lock. And what's really cool is that you can lock those notes with an iPhone passcode, which is the easiest. But if you want that added layer of security, you can even create a separate password that is different than the one that is used to unlock your phone. So that way, even if somebody knows how to unlock your phone, they don't immediately have access to all of your locked notes. Your iPhone also gives you a really cool way to secure or hide any app that you have. All you have to do is long press on that app and click Require Face ID. Now, you could just force Face ID in order to open the app, or you could hide and require Face ID. And what that does is it puts the app into a specific hidden folder in your app library that makes it a lot harder to access. So if I wanted to access that, I would have to go all the way down and find the hidden folder. When I click on here, it's waiting for me to give my Face ID in order to show what's on that folder. And when I do so, you can now see the app there. And it's just as easy to return that app or not require Face ID if you just long press on the app again. And finally, you can hide entire home screens if you want to. In order to do that, you just tap and hold anywhere on your home screen until you enter the edit mode. Find these dots on the bottom, click there, and then uncheck any of the home screens that you don't want to be easily accessible. It's important to note that doesn't remove the apps that are on that home screen. It just means that when you're scrolling through, the apps that you had there in that particular home screen are no longer going to be present. Undoing it is just as simple. You click and hold, enter the edit mode, click on these dots, and then recheck that screen. And now it is back and available for you to access. Now, while you're thinking about what items you might want to protect on your phone, it's also worth considering all of the data you share when you connect to the internet. It's not just the websites you visit. All of the apps on your phone are constantly sending and receiving data as well. That's one of the reasons that I added a simple VPN connection widget for Proton VPN on my phone. All I have to do is click connect, and I'm not only adding an additional layer of encryption to my internet connection, I'm also hiding my IP address, blocking known malware domains, reducing ads, and blocking many known trackers. It's an open source service from a trusted provider based in Switzerland. Proton has sponsored this video, so if you use the link here or in the description, you can get 70% off. Now, like any of these security hacks, a VPN isn't a magic solution. You've probably heard me say that before, but it is a useful layer of protection, and Proton VPN is the one that I use on my iPhone. Did you know that Apple has a setting that will completely erase your phone after 10 failed attempts to unlock? Now, this isn't a setting that I think everybody needs to turn on, and I only suggest you do it if you also keep a backup of your phone elsewhere. But it is a valuable feature for those who travel a lot, maybe keep sensitive data on their device, or just want some extra precautions. If you're a parent with young kids, you can go ahead and skip this section. Otherwise, here's how you do it. Open up your settings app, scroll down to find Face ID and passcode. You're gonna have to enter in your passcode in order to access this, and then scroll all the way down until you see the erase data. You can just turn this on very easily. It's gonna let you know that after 10 failed attempts, it will erase everything, and that's it. It's very simple. It's also really easy to turn off if that's something that you don't wanna do anymore, but that's how you turn this feature on. Hopefully by this point, you're aware that iPhones are not immune to attacks and malware. There's been this popular belief that iPhones don't get viruses like Windows or Android do, but that's just not true anymore. Whether it's Pegasus, Darksword, Corona, or some other newer threat, your best defense is often as simple as just keeping your phone updated. You could set a reminder to check every week, or you could just turn on auto security updates, which I highly recommend that everybody do. Here's how you do it. So open your settings app again. There's two things we're going to change here. First, go into General and click on Software Update. You want to make sure that automatic updates is turned on. This means that anytime there's a new update to the OS system, it will automatically download and install, usually while you're sleeping. But there's another one you need to think about as well. If you go back to the main settings page and scroll down to Privacy and Security, and then scroll all the way down, there's something called Background Security Improvements. And I recommend you put automatically install. This means that anytime that there are critical security patches that need to be updated on the phone between these major OS updates, that will be done automatically and immediately immediately if you have this automatic install turned on, and I recommend you do. Okay, let's talk about securing your iPhone data. Apple does a pretty good job of keeping your data private and secure by default, but even within their ecosystem, there are different levels of security that you can choose from. For example, Apple will always keep your keychain passwords, your health data, your credit card data fully encrypted. That's the standard protection. But for most everything else, including your photos, your notes, and a lot of your iCloud data, Apple keeps a copy of the decryption key just in case they need it. For many users, they don't care if Apple has access to all of their photos and notes, but I suspect that you are not like most users. And if that's true, then turning on something known as advanced data protection is a no-brainer next step. Here's what we do. I've already done a whole video on advanced data protection, but if you go into your settings app, you click on your account, you click on iCloud, and then you scroll all the way down, there's advanced data protection. I've already turned this on, and you have to do a lot of account recovery settings and setup in order to make sure that they allow you to turn this on. But now all of that data is encrypted, and it really doesn't affect the usability at all. It's just a little bit of time and setup in order to get advanced data protection on. Some of the most dangerous threats to iPhone users are the attacks that we never see. An example would be somebody who somehow got access to your Apple ID email and password and then tried to take over your account on a different device to impersonate you or to use your payment methods. Apple already has some really good protections in place here, but we have the ability to create the strongest security available to us with two-factor authentication using physical security keys, which means that nobody can log into your account from a remote location unless they have these keys in their possession. Now, I've already done an entire video tutorial showing how to do this, and you can watch that later, or let's just do a quick overview right now. In your settings app, one last time, click on your account and then click on sign in and security. Next, you click on two-factor authentication. You'll see that I have multiple of these 2FA keys registered on my account. You have to have at least 2 for a minimum, but this means that if anybody wanted to sign into my Apple ID on some new device, they would literally have to have this in their physical possession and plugged into their device. The keys themselves will cost you a little bit of money, so this might not be something that everybody wants to do, but if you already have these physical 2FA keys in your possession, you might as well go ahead and set that up with your Apple ID. So if you're serious about locking things down, take 1 or 2 of these ideas to secure your phone and implement it today. And then secure your connection too by using Proton VPN. Try it out using the link here or in the description. And I recommend you check out this video next, where I explain different levels of payment security that are significantly better than your credit card.